The Helias Crusaders lost to Webb City last year in the state championship football game. With many players returning, the Crusaders looked poised to get back to the Edward Jones Dome. But KOMU8's Jack Washer tells us how two returning seniors almost missed their senior season.
Resiliency is the ability to quickly recover from adversity. For the Helias Crusaders, it involved blocking out a lopsided loss to Webb City in last year's state championship.
We didn't win state last year, so I really wanted to come back and get that.
Garrett, Buschjost, and Tryston backs are two of more than 30 seniors who returned this year. For one last year under the Friday night lights.
I'd say the atmosphere. That is so your adrenaline gets going when you get a good play, and if you get down a little bit, you know you can get back up by making that next play.
The crowd, I say, like everybody just being there on Friday and Saturday nights, and then just me blocking for this kid right here.
But that time to shine under the Friday night lights almost never came. Garrett, Tryston, and their friend Hayden Lee were driving to a friend's house one night in January. They were traveling along this road when they went out to the side. They kicked gravel out onto the road. Garrett tried to apply the brakes, but it was too late.
We did kind of a Dukes of Hazzard thing and ramped off the guardrail and started, as soon as we hit the ground the first time, started to roll. And, you know, it was a wild ride until we landed on all fours again and stopped. We were probably 1 centimeter away from not even walking for the rest of our lives. It's a miracle that nothing worse happened.
The three of them were able to get out of the car, but later Garrett and Tryston found out there was something wrong with both of them.
To realize that your child has such a severe injury was more than overwhelming for us.
Garrett and Tryston both suffered broken backs and necks. Tryston also had a broken hand and sternum. His parents say they felt like they were taking care of a newborn again.
I mean, obviously he's not a small kid, so taking care of him was not an easy task. It was something we gratefully did. I mean, I was so thankful. I mean, it could have been, we may not have had an opportunity to go to the hospital.
Tryston and Garrett fractured their C6 vertebrae, which is located here, about 1/4 of an inch thick, but it could have been a lot worse.
One way or the other, you know, paraplegic, or, you know, the doctor said, you know, if it would have went the other way, you know, massive heart attack. You know, that was probably the longest 24 hours of our entire life.
Doctors told him to take it easy, not something 2-3 sport athletes want to hear.
I mean, there were some evenings where we would just, you know, go to Dick's Sporting Goods so he could walk around just to, you know, get out of the house, because it wasn't something he was used to.
Doctors gave him the okay to play baseball in the summer, only 3 months into their recovery.
But immediately he said, well, what about football? I think we both held our breath. Yeah. We knew that baseball was a possibility, but we weren't sure that he would ever be able to be back on the football field.
He was just like, well, you can play football and start lifting. And just, it all lit up from right there. And you had, everything was looking forward, and it was just so good.
And it was such a difference in him. It was like night and day. You know, suddenly he was sitting a little taller, and the smile was a little broader. Yeah. There was a glint in his eye again, and from that point forward, we knew his recovery would be complete.
But Tryston wasn't the only one sitting taller that day.
I think when he got the word from the doctor, it was definitely a smile. He smiles all the time anyway, but there was a smile that you couldn't wipe off his face.
Smiles because they have a second chance at playing, and they won't let it go to waste.
Like, we knew we'd have a better team this year, so like I couldn't have missed it. It would have been just so terrible.
Could have not been playing sports anymore after that night, and I was just taking everything day by day and not looking too far into the future and living your life how you want it to be.
Jack, thank you. The Crusaders are 6-2, including a 13-9 win over CBC Saturday, a game where Tryston actually pushed Garrett into the end zone for a Helias touchdown.